Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Alexis Faye Yoga. I'm so very glad that you've decided to join me today. I have a gentle yoga flow for you today, in case you're not feeling so motivated or want to just have a slower practice. Now, if that sounds good to you, roll out your mat, hit the like and subscribe buttons down below, and we'll flow right into it. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another week of yoga. Stay firm. Sending that right foot back. Now we will begin our practice down on our mats, finding our Shavasana pose. Reach the toes off the top of the mat. We'll circle the arms up overhead and reach them off the back of the mat, finding a full body stretch. Reach with the fingers, point and reach with the toes. And we'll close the eyes or allow the vision to be soft, and we'll take a few deep breaths here. Allowing your inhales to be a little deeper, carrying that breath down low into the belly. And allowing our exhales to be a little bit longer, fully letting go of the breath before we start fresh with a new breath in. Now with our next exhale, we'll bring our arms to our cactus pose, pressing the elbows and the backs of the hands into the mat. If you're feeling a little bit stuck here, lift one shoulder, tuck the shoulder blade in nice and close to the spine and close to the other shoulder blade, and then settle that shoulder back down. That might give you a little more space, finding a little more lift across the chest. And we'll start to walk the bottoms of the feet in towards the body and then out towards the outer edges of our mat. Now noticing if we have an arch in our low back, we'll lift the hips, tuck them under and set them back down. We'll start to windshield wiper the knees side to side, moving at a pace that feels right to you and your body today. And then we'll hug the knees into the chest, wrap the arms around the legs, and we'll curl into a nice tight ball, lifting the back of the head off of the mat, bringing chin to chest, squeezing the legs into the body. We'll find a little rocking side to side. And we'll leave our left knee up to the chest. We'll release our right leg long and settle it down to the mat. Now from here, we'll grab the bottom of our left foot with our right hand and move our left hand up to our knee. We'll gently rotate so that the inside of the shin is facing towards the chest, and we're finding our laying pigeon pose. We'll pull the leg in a little closer to the body, and you can settle the back of the head down to the mat, or we can keep it up, and we'll find a little rocking side to side of our leg. Now letting go of the bottom of our foot, we'll replace our left hand with our right, and then we'll guide that left knee across the right side of our body for a gentle twist. Slowly untwisting, we'll bring that left knee back in for another big hug to the chest. And then we'll bring the right leg back up as well, curling back into a nice tight ball. We can again rock side to side to reset. And then we'll keep our right leg where it is, extending the left long. We'll move our left hand to the bottom of the foot to rotate the leg in towards the chest. And on this side, we'll find a little rocking or a little cradling of the leg side to side. Now again, letting go of the bottom of the foot. So we'll move our left hand to the knee and start to guide that right knee across the left side of our body. Gentle twist on this side. Untwisting again. We'll hug the right knee back to the chest, bring the left back up, curling into a tight ball again, finding a little rocking side to side. And then we'll move our hands from the fronts of our shins to the backs of our thighs, and we'll start to rock forward and back. Doing so a few times until we come up into a seated position. Now we'll bring the bottoms of our feet together and then scoot them a little bit closer towards the body. We'll wrap the hands around the bottoms or the pinky side edges of the feet, and we'll gently press down through the knees as we find our butterfly pose. Sitting up nice and tall. We'll start to gently pull the chest a little bit closer towards the feet. So really sitting up nice and tall. We can find a little rocking side to side. Or maybe even a little fluttering of the knees. And then from here, we're going to find a forward fold. If you get only a little ways forward and you're feeling stuck in your hips, you can scoot the feet out further from the body, finding more of a diamond pose with the legs instead of our butterfly pose. But we'll sit up nice and tall, press the hips back as we start to hinge forward, bowing the chest a little closer to the feet. With our next in-breath, we'll start to sit up tall again. We'll bring the knees in together, and then we'll extend the legs fully out long. We'll give the legs a little bouncing out, a little wiggling around. And then point the toes straight up towards the sky. We'll shift a little further forward, so we're sitting up nice and tall again. You might start to feel your hip flexors working here as we find that tall posture. Now we can circle the arms up overhead and reach them up towards the sky. If your shoulders are talking to you, drop them down to your shoulders. We'll find the same motion here, reaching tall through the top of the head and through the hands if they're up, or just through the top of the head if not. We'll take a few deep breaths here, finding some strength through our back, through our core and our hip flexors. At the end of each exhale, we'll recheck that posture to sit us up just a little bit taller. Take the eyes forward, the top of the head up, maybe even the fingertips up. Press the chest forward. Continue with those big, deep breaths. Carrying the breath down low into the belly. Then fully letting go of the exhale before starting fresh again. Good. With our exhale, we'll start to hinge forward, reaching with the fingertips as we bow, and find a forward fold. Now, we can add as much of a bend to the knees as you need or want here. This is a gentle practice, remember. Or we can extend the legs a little longer. You can pedal out the legs. Or whatever else is feeling right. We're going to find some spinal waves with our breath. So with our inhale, we'll lift slightly so we can extend the spine nice and long. With our exhale, we'll soften into that space, maybe even rounding through the spine a little bit. Inhale to find length. Exhale to soften. Good, and then with our next inhale, we'll start to roll and round our way up the spine. Coming back up nice and tall. We'll bring the legs in, and then we'll make our way around to our tabletop pose. Wrists are under shoulders, knees are under hips. We're going to flip one hand over so that the top of the hand is down to the mat, and then the other hand over. If this feels like a lot of pressure in the wrist, in the arms, move them closer towards the knees. That'll take some of the pressure out. And then wherever we are, we're going to gently press back through the hips, finding a little more depth in our stretch along the tops of the forearms. Good. One hand at a time. We'll flip them back over. Now this time bringing them a little bit closer towards the knees than before, because this time we're going to shift forward. Pressing the palms into the earth, working on gripping with the fingers as we do so. So the middle knuckles of each finger might start to lift off to the mat. Then we'll shift back a little bit, and we'll move the fingertips so they're pointed at each other. Now we're going to rock side to side, trying to keep those palms pressed into the earth as we do so. And back to center again. We'll circle the hands one more time so they're back to our more neutral placement. Fingertips are pointed up towards the top of our mat. The wrists are under the shoulders, the knees are under the hips. With our in-breath, we'll shine the chest forward. And with our out-breath, we'll curl into center, arch up through the spine, press the ground away from the hands. We'll move back and forth with our cat-cow poses. Exhale to curl in towards center. Inhale to find length as we lower the abdomen towards the mat. And then we'll come back to our tabletop one more time and walk the hands in towards the legs so that we're sitting on the heels. Now, if this is completely uncomfortable in your body, try tucking your toes under. That might help. And then you're also stretching that plantar fascia along the bottom of the foot. If again that is completely uncomfortable, find a different seated position instead. We will bring our hands together out in front of the body, interlock the fingers, and then find some figure eights, looping the wrists around. And then we'll switch directions and loop the other way. Letting go of the hands, we'll shake them out to our sides. Shake out the wrists, shake out the arms, shake out the shoulders. And then we'll shift forward to our tabletop. Now taking the knees towards the outer edges of the mat and the big toes into touch. We'll bring our right hand underneath of our chest. With a big breath in, we'll send our left arm up towards the sky. Now our thumb is going to come across the center of our palm, and we'll wrap our other fingers around it, forming a bit of a fist. And then we'll circle that fist around in one direction. And around in the other. Now letting the fingers go nice and wide. With our exhale, we'll thread our left arm as far through our arm and leg towards the right side of the mat. We'll find a gentle twisting motion. Pressing our right hand into the mat. Then we'll again press into the right hand to unthread the left. Reach the left up nice and tall. And then we'll bring it down. Set it underneath of the chest with a big breath in. We'll reach our right arm up. Bring that thumb across, wrap the fingers around. I'll circle the wrist out in one direction. and around in the other. Now releasing the fist, we'll bring our right arm as far through our left side as we can. And then we'll bring the shoulder inside of face down. Again, finding a gentle twisting motion through the spine. Pressing into the left hand, we'll unthread the right. Reach the right back up. And we'll bring it down. Now to round out our practice today, we'll move to a child's pose. It is up to you if you'd like to keep your knees apart for a wide-legged child's pose, or if you would like to bring them in closer. We'll start to round and roll through the spine, tucking the hips towards the feet, reaching the arms long, bringing the forehead or the top of the head to the mat. We'll focus again on some big, deep breaths here. As we breathe in, feeling the expansion across to the back, across the shoulder blades, maybe even finding some more rounding through the spine. And with our exhale, finding that softening, that spot at the end of a breath where the body naturally relaxes, softens towards the earth before we start fresh with a new breath in. We'll take a couple of big, deep breaths here. Thank you so very much for joining me today. It is always such a joy and an honor to get to spend this time with you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Go in love, go in light, go in peace, and go in joy. Thank you.